Knoxville.
There was a town, and we called it Knoxville. Oh. It's recording.
It is recording, by the way.
Is it recording? It's recording.
Yeah, it records sound. Zach takes the sound off.
Way to go, Zach. So remarkable.
So remarkable. But he also edits the video. All right. All right.
Is it recording? Beep-a-boop-a-boop-a-dee-bow.
All right.
So stupid.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to Green Light and Banter.
Yepers.
Today is episode
I mean, really?
34.
Sure.
And today's date is September 12th.
It is.
2024.
The year of our Lord.
Yep. So welcome to this fantastic foray into quite honestly nothing.
Yeah, zero plan whatsoever for this
Yeah,
one.
no plan today.
But what we do have
Is a green screen.
that we have no idea how to operate.
Yeah, so we have a new green screen in the studio
So stupid.
here in Knoxville. And what you can see actually is Knoxville.
It is Knoxville.
So that's a view of our downtown.
I don't
Oh.
know what that was.
That was my computer.
Oh, is this all the pictures you've been sending or
Yep,
something?
I'm just now getting the
Are
photos,
they going to start flooding in on us?
I guess.
Great.
So that photo is actually looking east of
Yes.
Knoxville. So what you'll see there is the iconic sun sphere, which was the symbol of the 1982 World's Fair.
Do you remember the theme song? It was a jingle. It wasn't.
Were there words?
Yeah, it was the 1982
World's
World's
Fair.
Fair. You had to be there.
I thought it said you got to be there.
Well, now it's 2024. You had to be there. Give me some artistic leeway here.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking there's probably a lot of people that were there, but there's a whole lot of people now that weren't alive.
Suckers.
Because how many years has that been?
It's been quite a bit. I don't have to do math.
42
I
years?
don't have to prove to you
Oh
I
my
can
God.
add and subtract.
Wait, it's been 42 years.
That seems about right.
Oh, so this time 42 years ago, the World's Fair was drawing to an end. And quite honestly, at that time, there was something else going on as well.
Hey,
The fair.
the
TV,
Tennessee-
the Tennessee Valley Fair was happening at the same
They
time.
didn't decide to take a year off.
Why would they?
I mean, no, I get.
You've got extra millions of people in town.
Oh yeah.
And there was it was one of the few World's Fairs that was actually profitable.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was profitable.
Yeah, and I think the next World's Fair was in New Orleans in 84.
Nolans?
Yeah, Nolans, and it was probably one of the last. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you don't hear of the world, so I guess is it done?
Well, maybe it's in other countries, and we just don't know.
I gotta admit ignorance and now I know the history of the World's Fair dating back to the Chicago World's Fair with Tesla when the whole current wars were going on.
Right, but that was it was called something else then. It was the Exposition. But they still called the World's Fair in Knoxville was Expo 82,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Do you remember the Rubik's Cube that was there?
Vaguely. I was fairly young.
It's somebody still has it. Or is it up somewhere?
I'm sure somebody still has it.
Is it still up down there?
I haven't seen it down there, I don't think.
Used to be up there right next to the Victorian homes.
Well, let me ask you this. How much money would it take for you to drink one of those commemorative Coke 1982 World's Fair Cokes? You'd probably do it just
$50?
to see what would happen.
$50?
Yeah, never mind.
I think I have one.
Well, down it when you get home. Stone cold that.
I think it's at Mom's. So,
She's drinking it right now.
hey, so we got distracted by our background, but
How can you not?
I mean it's beautiful, right?
Yes.
So if that's east,
I don't see Neyland.
that's not east.
No,
That's
not.
west.
I can't.
It is west.
I don't see the Smokies, so it's definitely not east.
It's west facing. Okay, so I had to gain my point of view here. So
So Neyland should be behind me.
yeah, it's west.
Go
Yeah.
Vols.
So Neyland Stadium is just over Jamie's left ear, somewhere in there.
Keep it down back there.
Wait a second.
People are going to be enthralled by this.
I am completely wrong. So I'm actually going to give up talking about this right now.
I don't feel like what little audience we have is enthralled with our lack of navigation. Yeah, I know that's the First Tennessee building, but
It's a backward image.
it's a backwards image.
The image is reversed, folks. Okay.
We're sorry about all this.
So the image is reversed. That's what's throwing me off. Because if you see the tallest glass building in the background,
Yeah.
that should actually it would be on the other side.
So the moral of this whole blank show that's been going on here is we don't know what we're doing as far as the green screen. We're very much day one with the green screen, just like we were day one with the podcast.
Well, the image is mirrored.
Yeah, that's all.
So it is.
We have established that, but the whole point is that we're as amateur with dealing with the green screen as we were amateur dealing with the podcast.
So guess what? That image is reversed, and it is looking east.
I'm done talking about which way the thing's facing.
You got to get it right.
No, we're moving on. What do we got? You just had a trip.
No, I was gonna say thanks to the new subscribers.
Oh yes.
So I mean, it's actually quite amazing to us. But so looking at the analytics, let me make sure I say that correctly.
Thank you.
The analytics show that we have listeners in other countries. Now, we had listeners in other countries when our podcast was simply on Spotify, and then we expanded to other platforms. We had listeners in the Czech Republic.
Indeed. Is what we should.
Yeah, of course.
Who wouldn't?
But looking at the analytics today, it looks like the majority of our viewers are actually in Japan. Now, Sweden was number one for a bit.
The Swedes love us. I don't mind telling you. They think highly of this.
The ones we know.
Indeed.
So we'd just like to say thanks for watching whatever this is.
Yes.
And it's really fun for us in some ways. I think it's frustrating for Jamie, which is why it's fun for me.
Dadgummit.
But we thought we're trying to do this on a routine basis, and quite honestly, we have day jobs and other things. Mm-hmm. So preparation,
0.
lots of prep work. Lots of prep work goes into this.
You better believe it. It really and literally is me walking in here 5 minutes before. So do we got a topic? Yeah. Okay. Well, I walked in here before this, and he's standing on this desk putting up this green screen. And then we tried figuring out the green screen, which mainly it was us disappearing into the abyss and some...
Yeah, it was because you have to pick the color.
So my black shirt then was offset or blending in with what the color was.
Yeah, it couldn't identify the color of the green screen. It had it as some type of gray or something.
LIB.
It's probably the lighting with our mood lighting, romantic lighting. We got a new lamp too, by the way.
Can I say it's a Dollar General store lamp?
Yeah, $18 lamp.
Yeah. Okay. So that defeats the whole thing about Dollar General.
What's it? It's $18. It's not $17.99.
Well, shouldn't it be $1? If I'm going to name something the Dollar General or the Dollar Tree,
Should it be dollars?
or what was the one in the mall? Only $1? I think that's what it was called.
Was it?
Yeah, only $1. Everything better be $1 if your whole marketing scheme is it's $1. I don't want to go into a dollar store and pay $30 for something.
Well, they're not going to have anything
Do they ever have anything really?
at the Dollar General.
I can tell you, I've never set foot in one.
You would be amazed. They can put more merchandise in that building. It's unbelievable. Now you go in there and the shelves are full, yet there's like 3 people putting more stuff out. You need to go. It is crazy.
Well, I know, and especially in this region of the country, you can't sling a dead cat. No offense, Ohio. You can't sling a dead cat without hitting a Dollar General.
Oh, I started to send you a picture.
Slinging a dead
Saw Dollar General in Canada.
Oh, wow.
So I wonder if it's Canadian Dollar General.
So you have the whole conversion rate. Well, get on it, Justin Trudeau.
So we just got back from a trip to Canada and Maine. Very interesting trip. I did encounter this, though. I actually took cash and didn't really have an opportunity to spend it. I went into one store in Quebec City. Really cool place. Cool store. It's where I got the wallet. And I asked the lady if she would take cash. And she goes, yes. And I said, American? And she says, I don't know how to do that.
Isn't it mathematics?
Yeah, I don't know. You have to do the conversion rate.
Well, that's curious. I do know that you tried to speak French and weren't very good at it, right?
Well, who said that?
I believe your wife said that to the waiter, was it?
Well, I mean, I tried.
I don't think that counts with trying to speak the native
I did
language.
okay with breakfast.
So it'd be like me asking where the library is in Mexico.
Two lattes. Por favor.
So that'd
Wait,
be,
that's Spanish.
What was it? What? I don't know. Do. So do.
Deux latte, s'il vous plaît?
Do you end it with
No.
Well, there goes our French audience.
Yeah.
They just
No, it was great, man.
Hit the bricks.
I will say this. So, obviously, we had no clue where we're going most of the time. And especially when we didn't have any cell phone coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had studied the map a little bit of the city, but not effectively. But, I mean, there were at least 2 or 3 times where people actually stopped and asked if we needed help.
Did you all just look lost, I guess? Were you like doing this motion? How does one know that you all are
I don't know.
in need of assistance?
Well, I think it was probably when we were trying to decide where to eat. And we just kept going back and forth up the street.
You daggum tourists.
Oh.
That's funny.
There was it seemed like a lot of tourists there, but it was pretty neat. One morning we got up early, and the kids were all walking the streets headed towards school.
Were they singing?
Yeah. Oh, Champs-Élysées.
Frere Josque.
No, they weren't singing. They were on their cell phones, of course.
Oh, man. Can't escape it.
Actually, it wasn't that bad.
Really? Sounds like it was a good trip. Now, am I mistaken? Because you told me yesterday, because I told this to my parents, and they couldn't believe it. How much did you say a lobster roll was up there? Or not in Canada, but in Maine.
In Maine. So we were in Bar Harbor.
Oh, Bar Harbor.
Yeah. So Bar Harbor's quaint little town, got basically the little main street that runs kind of downhill toward the harbor. I guess it's the harbor of Bar.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to find a place to eat. You know, it's like, you don't know.
Right.
But there were several different places. We really wanted to sit.
Yeah.
There were some little places where you could walk up and order. But I figured no matter where you went in the town, you're probably going to get decent lobster rolls, right?
Absolutely.
So we found a place. What was the name of it? I don't know. I don't remember. But a lot of times we typically will split food because we didn't want to carry leftovers, right?
Right.
So we ordered one lobster roll, and it came with a bag of chips. It was $32 or $35. Yeah. And you don't know what it's going to cost because it says market price. So the lobster and the crab on the menu says market price.
Do you think this was because of all the government regulations on the fishing industry?
I don't know.
Do you think? I mean, it's in season. I think September is lobster season.
Is it?
I think.
Well, there were a lot of lobster pots out with the buoys. You could see them everywhere.
Well,
however, it's really hard to get an allotment, so they limit it.
Well, I know they're saying when they last went up there, and this was a few years back, lobster rolls were $8.
What?
$8.
Well, I would have had more than one, or more than a half.
Yeah, they had them daily for lunch.
It was expensive, and I'm not talking about just that. Everything else was pretty pricey.
Well,
And I guess it's because it's touristy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of captive because you get outside those little. I mean, Bar Harbor was the biggest place other than Bangor that we were at. You know, otherwise you're just driving little country roads and some country stores. But,
Yeah.
But I would bet they even have good lobster.
Oh, I'm sure you can't.
But I mean, it's finite. You can't make a lobster salad for the roll. It doesn't keep very long. So I guess they charge more for it because they're having to toss it.
Yeah, but still, I mean.
So I did hear a little controversy about the lobster roll. And you can order it two ways. Let me guess how you would order it.
Well, what was your choices?
Well, the traditional way is with mayo.
Well, then you don't have to guess how I would order it. Sans mayo.
So you get it cold with mayo, kind of like a chicken salad or whatnot. Or you get it warm with butter.
You see, I'd want some drawn butter with it.
Well, had it not been $1 million, I would have probably gotten two, one of each. But it was good, but there wasn't much of it.
Curious. Do you think, how did it compare to Twin Peaks lobster rolls?
Well, I think it was prepared differently. Although, I'll tell you how it compared. It was about 100% more in cost.
That's insane to me.
But there's no guarantee that the Twin Peaks has...
Real lobster?
Right.
Think they're passing synthetic lobster?
I don't know that. I don't know.
Twin Peaks, we want answers. We want them now.
I mean, honestly, that was really good. So, but it was a little different. So the Maine lobster roll was just essentially mayonnaise and lobster.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
Are we talking about the Bar Harbor or the Twin Peaks?
The Bar Harbor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We probably should just stop talking about Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good food.
That's good. And it looked like great scenery. I liked where y'all were staying. If you can go on, was it on YouTube, the short?
Yeah, I did a short a few days ago of where we stayed in Maine.
Looked fantastic.
Yeah, a little. So the lakes up there, they call them ponds. Mm-hmm. Not sure why I didn't study that, but here a pond is not very big.
Man-made little.
Yeah, these lakes are stone. You know, there's big granite stones in there, so a lot of stone because of the glaciers that were covered the area millions of years ago. But Place was called Toddy Pond. It was cool. It was so cool. The weather was perfect. The water was clear, calm. Well, the first day it wasn't calm. It was a little windy.
Right.
But at night, it's just glass. The water is glass.
Did you watch the ships come in? George Clooney getting off the boat.
We didn't see George Clooney.
Did you see Mark Wahlberg?
No, why would we see them?
Perfect Storm, man.
Oh.
Was it Gloucestershire? Whatever it's called.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think that was in Massachusetts anyway.
I don't think I saw that movie.
What?
But we did. There is a ferry you can take from Bar Harbor to Nova Scotia.
Really? That's cool. Did you do it?
No, it's 3.5 hours each way. But it's a huge catamaran type ferry. So I looked at it. It's $100 a person each way.
So it would have been $400 for you and your wife to.
Yeah, to go over and back. But I think it would be kind of cool. Like you could take your car.
Yeah.
So you take your car and then go to Nova Scotia. It's the quick way to get there because otherwise it's a pretty long drive. But it would be worthwhile if you could do that and spend a few days.
Where's Nantucket?
That's Connecticut, isn't it?
I think.
It's down Connecticut and Massachusetts with the arm that sticks out there. I don't know. I've been there, but not really explored the area. Mm-hmm. We did a lot of exploration. We drove about 900 miles. Yeah.
Did you fly up or did you drive? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's actually an 1,800-mile drive from here to Bangor, Maine.
When my parents went, they drove up the coastline and.
Yeah, if you had about 6 weeks.
Yeah, they're retired.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So
it'd be right up my alley.
Yeah,
lobster rolls every day.
Lobster rolls.
$1 million trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want an $8 lobster roll.
I bet you do. You know, they may not have been in Bar Harbor though when they had that. I wonder.
I don't know. We were afraid to ask in other places because it said market price. We didn't want to look cheap. Yeah, I'll have the lobster roll. I don't care how much it costs.
Well, it's $70 today, my good man. Bring one for everyone.
Yeah, I'll have 3.
I'll take 3. Just chuck 2 of them out into the ocean. Send them back from whence they came.
Put them back in the pot.
That's right.
But they have these little places along the way, and they're called lobster pounds.
What?
Lobster pounds. Yeah, I guess it's a restaurant. They call it a pound.
Okay, so it's not like...
No, where they take lobsters.
You got Sarah McLachlan singing over it.
Stray lobsters.
These lobsters need a in the arm.
Free the lobsters.
It shows a lobster just out of the water in a cage. Just
shivering.
Yeah.
Looking sad. Tears.
Damn you, Sarah McLachlan.
But the little places had outside, I thought they were smoking meat. But there's like these long brick structures with cylinders in them. So they're pots. And they have little smokestacks. So they cook the lobsters out in those pots.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, I love lobster.
Do you?
I love it. You know, see what they ate at the first Thanksgiving.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of water up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's more shoreline in Maine than in California.
Are you making that up?
No.
Because that doesn't seem possible.
Well, because of all the inlets and bays. Think about it. California's pretty straight down the coast, right?
It is.
You look at Maine, there's all of these little peninsulas and fingers. And
do you ever watch Northwood's Law? Mm-hmm.
I have not.
It's a wonderful show.
I wanted to ask people who were up there, did you ever see the show on TV? It was called Down East Dickering.
Nobody saw that. What is that?
There was a show on maybe History Channel or something. It was called Down East Dickering. And so the Mainers, they would go out and be like, hey, how much you want for that snowmobile? I don't know, $500. And he'd be like, you want a dicker?
What?
Dicker. You know, the dicker about it.
Go back and forth on it.
Yeah. You want a dicker about it? And they're like, yeah, I'll dicker. And so it was called Down East Dickering.
Well, son of a gun.
And that's the area we were in Maine. They call it Down East because it's the southeast part, I guess.
You know, snowmobiles. So necessary. Like when you watch these Alaska shows.
Mm-hmm.
Crucial. But is there more unreliable piece of machinery on the planet?
Well, it seems to be. I had this idea. We were up there. There's a lot of boats, and there's a lot of ATVs, and then jet skis. And then I'm sure there's snowmobiles in the winter season. They're probably in their garages, right? What if you had a vehicle in the summer? It was a Sea-Doo, a water jet ski, and then the winter you put a thing on it and it was a snowmobile.
That'd be great.
Isn't it kind of the same thing?
But what's the mechanics backing it up? I could say that about anything. You know, it'd be great if I could have my bass boat convert into a jetliner. Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, but they don't even look alike. Jet skis and snowmobiles look alike.
Well, that's all well and good.
They have a seat and the thing on it.
I don't think you're going to get this off the ground. I think this is...
Well, I'm not. Of course not. I'm not going to do it.
Well,
But yeah, I think snowmobiles and jet skis are probably very unreliable.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Is Mount Washington's in Maine, isn't it?
I'm not sure if it's in Maine or
New
Vermont
Hampshire.
or New Hampshire.
Okay.
It may be.
Does the AT go on Mount Washington?
I think that's where it ends.
Okay.
Right?
I think.
Or Katahdin.
I can't remember.
Katahdin is the end. I should know this. I mean, we were just on the AT in Maine.
I mean, you could have converted your jet ski into a snowmobile, and then converted that into a four-wheeler.
I saw a meme or something on a video, and the guy was like, the people in New Hampshire or Vermont talking about the 4,000 footers. You know, like out west, they talk about climbing the 14ers.
Yeah.
He goes, the 4,000ers.
Yep. Oh, man.
But I think Mount Washington, those mountains are like 6,000 feet.
Yeah, they're ridiculous from what I hear.
It's pretty tall.
What's Klingham's dome here?
Roughly 6,200
Yeah.
feet. But I mean, you think about that in comparison, like you go out west and you're doing a 12,000 foot mountain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, you're starting at 7,000 feet.
Right.
So it's 5,000 feet of elevation. Mount LeConte, you start from Sugar Lands and head up Bullhead Trail, which is 13 miles. You're going up about 6,000 feet,
Yeah.
5,000 feet. So it's kind of the same, except
Yeah.
you're not getting altitude sickness. The highest mountain we climbed out there was Mount Cadillac, or Cadillac Mountain in Acadia National Park.
Cadillac Mountain.
I think it's Cadillac Mountain. I did have a picture I was going to put up, and it shows the mountains.
Yeah. I only got up Lincoln Continental Mountain. I didn't go up Cadillac.
What about
Mountain.
Buick?
Buick Mountain? That's for beginners.
I was trying to figure out why they named it Cadillac, because Cadillac wasn't he a Native American chief of the like the Detroit Indians, not Detroit, up in Michigan?
I don't know the exact story.
That's where the name Detroit and that comes from, right?
Yeah.
So interesting things about Quebec,
Get on it.
or as the French say, Quebec.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Very exotic.
I always say Quebec, but then when people say Quebec.
I say Quebec.
So the city, Champlain.
What about Quebec? Sorry, Champagne, get on with it.
Champlain founded the city, right? Like 1604, he discovered it. But ironically, the peninsula that Acadia National Park is on, he actually named that area too, and it's called Mount Desert. Because when he saw it the first time, it's so cool to name something.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
And he named it, of course, it was French, and I can't tell you what it is in French, but he said it looked like the desert on the mountains because they're just rock. Thought that was interesting.
Was it je ne sais quoi?
No.
Oh.
No. But I also told you about Benedict Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
So 1775, George Washington, during the Revolution, sent Benedict Arnold and 1,000 men to Quebec City to capture it from the British. Now, having driven from Bangor, Maine to Quebec City, I can't imagine walking.
Horseback.
In the 1700s,
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
You talk about some terrain. So the road we took was the old Canadian road, and apparently it's the same road that the people used. I mean, not the same road, but it's the same pathway.
Was it treacherous?
For us, no. It was a pleasant drive, but it's roughly 250 miles. But your average speed is about 40 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, not single digits.
So stupid me, thinking that there's a interstate that goes between every city.
It sounded like y'all had a good trip. It did. I'm pretty envious of it. It sounded like a great little trip.
You know, I think you and I should take trips like that.
That'd be fun.
Because what I like to do is find a place I haven't been and then just go explore it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, that was the first time. Now, when we go back, we really know what to do.
I won't be some average tourist.
But I think we want to plan to go back and maybe even stay in that cabin on that lake for like a week in the summer.
Yeah.
That'd be glorious.
It'd be awesome.
I don't know. It's probably like 100% humidity and a bunch of insects.
Did you say there was a ton of gnats at some point?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
At the marker for the Benedict Arnold thing.
Right. Well, that's the only rub about like Alaska. I hear in the summertime the bugs are insufferable.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine if you're out there hiking.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd have to have one of those net suits or something. Then you'd be hot and sweaty.
It'd just be a misery.
Sounds great, doesn't it?
It'd just be a misery.
I just can't even think about how far that is from here. We're not even at the beginning of the Appalachian Trail.
No.
Near the beginning.
Is it in Georgia?
Yeah, it's Springer Mountain.
Yeah.
So that's probably hiking from there to Newfound Gap, I think is like almost 100 miles. And that's just the start.
That's just the beginning.
You're not even through Tennessee.
Do people actually do it start to finish? I mean, most people take breaks, right? Like,
Well, the through hikers.
you got to go back to work at some point.
Well, I mean, some people do it, and they take about 6 months.
They probably have sponsorships.
It's like 2,200 miles.
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought about it in retrospect. Of course, I can say this now. I should have done it when I was not working 2 years ago.
That'd have been a great way to spend your non-compete year.
Yeah. If you need me, I'll be walking in the woods.
So this is Mount Washington.
Have you been to another country?
No. No, a blonde fellow like myself would get kidnapped.
You would?
I don't know. If you're a blonde female, yeah.
How many countries are in the world? 180?
What type of question is that? Nobody knows that. There's
I think
not one person on the planet that knows that.
It changes very often.
Yeah.
I think it's like
I
180.
mean, you got to take into account untouched countries.
Well, it's still a country.
I guess you can count that. Yeah, I guess you're right.
But I mean, I think there's like 186 or something.
No.
I'll never make them all.
There's way more than that, surely.
You think?
Surely. I don't know. I'm talking out
I don't
of my
know.
hat. How are we on
Hey
time?
Siri, how many countries are in the world? 195
Are you kidding me?
today.
That sounds way low.
Today.
We may have to discover.
Well, I mean, the United States is one. It's pretty big.
I guess
Canada's
you're right.
one.
Yeah,
It's pretty big. Mexico's one.
But the United States and Canada are absurdly big. You know, I was watching something about
Not as big as Australia.
Well, I was watching about people that in Europe that were talking about how untraveled Americans are, and there's people saying, "Are you kidding me? Have you seen the size of America? I mean, to get from one country to another in Europe takes 40 minutes."
Well, I mean, Texas is generally about the size of Western Europe, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It takes me 40 minutes to get to West Knoxville. I mean, that's to get to another country in Europe. So, no, yeah. And right now, the way the world is, you got no interest in seeing a lot of these countries.
Well, I think the risks of that are pretty great.
Yeah, I mean,
Although
it's nothing against all the other countries. It's just,
Well,
let's face it.
what do they call it? Risk versus return.
Yeah, risk versus reward. And I just, like, I'm jealous that my sisters back in the 90s went traveling. And I really,
They did a walkabout.
Well, they did the whole backpacking, staying in hostels in Europe.
What?
Yeah, they went into Italy.
Are you even related to these people?
I am, by blood.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, I don't even like Knoxville.
I like Knoxville.
I like outside of Knoxville.
I like the idea of Knoxville. There was once a dream called Knoxville.
Have you seen this picture?
Look at that thing.
I mean, I can't believe it. You want out of Knoxville.
I don't
when
want. I
you
never want. I don't want that.
You portrayed James White.
There was it. I'm not gonna sing it right now.
So James in middle school.
No, in elementary school, and that's when my mom.
You did the play, and you were the founder of Knoxville.
Yeah, and my mom handmade my.
Did you have a beard?
No, I don't think I did.
Did James White have a beard?
Regardless, I didn't. But I did have a full gunpowder.
A horn, powder horn
on my hip, and then it fell out of my. It was my dad's metal, and it fell out of my belt. It went clang, 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 clang on the stage. And it was a handmade outfit, costume my mom made. When I bent over,
was it a costume or a uniform?
It was absolutely a costume. And when I bent over to pick it up, the rear of my britches just went rip. So the rest of the play, I was like moving around to where my rear end was facing.
That's why they wore those long frock coats.
Then there's twice where my mom's costume she made me just double crossed me. One time it was my fault for not giving her the full scoop on it, but I think third grade we did the story of Christmas, and I was Santa Claus. And I went home, Mrs. Claus was there and some elves, and she didn't know I was taking my red hat off and hanging it up. Well, Mom made me the beard, but instead of she just thought it easier just to bundle everything up at the top. So it looked like I had one of those man buns up there. When I took it off, I think she just lost it.
You were a trendsetter.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the first man bunner. Absolutely.
The Santa Claus man bun?
The Santa Claus man bun.
Oh, I kind of stopped listening to you for a second there.
Why did you?
I don't know.
You stopped listening to me.
I don't know.
What type of show is this?
I don't know what I was thinking.
What were you doing that whole time?
I was thinking about Canada.
That'll teach me for going off subject.
I was thinking about Quebec City.
While I was telling that amazing man bun story.
Yeah.
I mean, that was gold.
I recovered pretty well, being that I didn't hear it all, but I did realize you were Santa Claus or something.
This is an outrage.
I know.
I mean, I put a lot of effort into my stories.
I can tell.
Yeah. How are we on time?
I have no idea.
Did you even start it?
Yeah.
What does it say?
7 minutes.
Till we're done?
Yep.
What do we got left?
7 minutes.
No, I mean like a subject matter because I feel like we've covered everything.
We've got 7 minutes.
We're just going to ramble on for 7 minutes.
Okay, so let's say this. Where if you were traveling, where would you want to go?
I would want to go.
I want you to travel.
I want to go to Iceland. I want to go when there's Northern Lights. I'd love to do that. I'd love to go to BC.
Is that British Columbia?
It is.
That's in Canada.
Yeah.
So is British Columbia on the West Coast? Mm-hmm. Is that where Vancouver?
Yeah. Now, when I say I want to go to British Columbia, I don't want to go
to the city.
I want to go out into the middle of nowhere and get a cabin and chop my wood and.
I don't think. I mean, you could do that here.
Yeah, but it's not BC.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know if you went into like a pine forest.
What do you mean I wouldn't know? What type of dolt do you take me for?
If you went into a pine forest here,
right,
in a cabin,
right,
and chopped wood, and you went there, it would look the same.
So in this scenario, I guess you would give me chloroform or something. Say, yeah, we're going to go up to British Columbia.
I know you're nervous about getting on a plane.
Gravity is a serious thing, man.
Yeah. So we're just going to knock you out.
Yeah.
We're here, Jamie.
We're here. Oh, so this is Canada. Did they even look at my passport?
They did, but they lost it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and you owe us $5,000 for travel.
Well, do you take a check?
No checks. Cash only.
No, but I'd love to go to those two countries. Basically, I'd like to go to countries that aren't heavily populated, to where people will leave me alone.
I think they would.
I wouldn't mind. Well, that's America. I was about to say I wouldn't mind going to Hawaii, but it's still America.
Well, it's pretty far.
Yeah, it's pretty far. But I wouldn't want to go to any heavily populated resort type place. I'd like to get an Airbnb out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I think you're missing the point of travel, though.
No,
it's the culture. It's experiencing the culture that's different than yours.
What? How am I going to respond to that?
Hey, we did it.
That wasn't 7 minutes.
It was.
I've been through 7 minutes so much in my life.
Oh, it wasn't.
No, there's not a chance.
It's 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
That was the first timer I said.
But let's see here. What other country I'd like to go? I'd like to see parts of England. I'd like to see the countryside of England.
Well, I mean, you could do a driving tour easily.
I'd like to see Ireland, but I tell you what, I'd like to see. What's that island in Ireland? The movie came out recently with Colin Farrell, the Banshees of. I think it's like Irishin or something like that.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a remote part of Ireland where like the population is almost like McCarthy. You ever heard of McCarthy, Alaska? McCarthy, Alaska is like population 28.
Well, we drove through a town like that in Canada. It said 30.
See, that's perfect. 30 people.
I'm like, it's not a town.
It'd be great to live in a town like that, but how expensive would it be to live there?
Well, that's exactly right, because to get anything,
batteries would be like $40.
I wonder what lobster costs.
You just go catch your own.
We're not eating any lobster in this town.
No, you just go catch your own.
I guess you could.
I'd like to see, like I said, I'd like to see those little islands. You know what would be the perfect place? I'm sure you've seen the picture online where it's like this island that's got this big slope in it, and it's huge, but it's got this one little house. It'd be awesome.
It's got the big green.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Could you?
Where is that?
Who knows?
I think that's in Ireland.
I hope so.
Is that where you're going?
I would love to go there.
That's the island.
And rent that house. And I'd go up to the top of that hill and like just ride a little bike down it. Of course, I'd have to stop before I get to the cliff and go into the ocean. I'd like to see certain Asian countries. I'd like to see Japan.
Oh, I would really love to go to Japan.
Yeah. But I don't think I'll ever get maybe I'll get the opportunity, but I don't know. Flying is just a big thing for me, man. It's.
Well, I honestly, there's not a lot of space on the plane.
Yeah.
And, you're not like my size.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't.
I mean, I have anxiety issues on the planes. If I get stuck in a place, and it happened to me again. I was like, I got to sit on the aisle. So I'm on the aisle. They put the cart for the food and stuff. They just parked it right beside of me. So here I am. I'm thinking, I'm trapped here. And I was like, why are they parked here? Don't they have the rest of the plane? They left it parked there, and they were walking back and forth.
Yeah.
And so I looked up and I said, how long are you going to leave that cart there?
Yeah, you said that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, and I just gravity, man. Gravity's just...
If you're really sitting there thinking about it, you can't get off the plane.
No. I mean, you're stuck. And technically flying isn't flying. It's controlled falling. Mm-hmm. You're falling the entire time. It's just you're not plummeting.
Yeah, we got up in one of the planes at 36,000 feet.
No.
It's like 7 miles.
Yeah. There's perfectly good places I can drive to. And
yeah, but it's real hard to get to Japan driving.
Oh, no. You just take 75, and then you make a left at Albuquerque.
Well, I mean, you could probably get really close if they build that bridge across the Bering Strait.
True.
Because if you drove up that way, you could see Alaska and BC. Mm-hmm. You could drive up through there, go across into Russia, and then you just head south. And you'd be really close to Japan. However, it is an island. And then you could take a boat.
Yeah. And, what do we got? We did it, didn't we? Mm-hmm. But it is crazy how close Alaska is to Russia. I mean, it's closer to Russia than we are to Cookville.
Yeah, and at one time it was connected.
Yeah.
And there has been some activity up there, I think. Mm-hmm. I guess that Russia probably wishes they hadn't have sold it for really cheap.
Really cheap. Really cheap.
Like a penny an acre or something.
Yeah.
What a deal.
What a deal.
I mean, we used to be really good at making land deals. Yeah,
Louisiana was a pretty good purchase.
It was like $15 million.
Yeah. Pennies on the...
That's a lot of money in 1803, though.
Yeah, but think of what it would be today. Not the $15 million, but what that land would cost. I don't mean like the conversion rate of $15 million to today. I mean...
No, like paying per acre.
Yeah, paying
value.
Yeah.
I don't know. You probably get some of it pretty cheap.
After this hurricane comes up in there.
I mean, New Orleans property is probably pretty cheap these days. I don't know. Well, that was an enjoyable interlude into...
I don't know if we had a subject. I don't know. Did we have a subject? Or did we just start talking?
We just started talking.
Okay.
I mean, the rules are there's a time limit. I pick a topic and we go.
I agree.
We started talking about Knoxville.
There was a town.
Oh, and if you look at the photo one last time before we get off, the Sunsphere base has been repainted into the original blue Pantone.
Gosh, do you remember how it glowed in '82? It glowed.
Well, I wonder if they've changed the top of it because it looks different these days.
Well, I think a lot of the luminescence has faded.
The gold, the actual gold.
Man, I remember walking under that when I was a youngin' in '82, and just looking. I was taken aback. I was like, "This is incredible."
I mean, that was a big deal coming down from Fountain City.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, what are you saying about Fountain City?
4 or 5 miles.
It was. We did on horseback.
I'm surprised you made it
on horseback. It took us about 2 days.
We came, and of course, in my father's typical fashion, like the trip we took to Washington, D.C., we saw the whole city in one day. That's a Tommy Barnett trip.
That's good Lord.
We're going to see it all. So I was like, Dad, we've got to go to the World's Fair.
So you just went the one day?
One day.
No, we went.
That's enough.
We went every day. It was.
Well, I still have it. I visited all of the pavilions. I got my thing stamped by all of them. So we visited all of them.
That's hilarious.
That's called efficiency.
I think I threw up there. I think I ate something and rode something. And I think I'm not a big rides kind of person.
They had rides?
I think they had rides.
Like amusement park rides?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I had no interest in that. I did love the TVA exhibit on the water where you got to simulate controlling the water in the dams.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't do so well.
Did you not?
No.
You flooded the valley?
I did, but I just thought, well, they used to be flooded before they built the lakes anyway.
Countless dead because of your...
I don't think anybody died.
Yeah, they all died.
No.
Every last one of them.
They could swim.
Screaming. No, none of them could swim. He killed them all.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, oh, brother, where art thou?
It was a simulation. It wasn't real.
You know, my dad would always say, you know, he was a TVA engineer for a long time and worked on the dams.
Wait, he was a dam engineer?
He's a damn good engineer. He says, whenever that scene on Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, he's like, this is the most ludicrous flooding I've ever seen in my life.
It's pretty rapid.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a slow rise.
I mean, you think about all the expansive area.
Yeah.
That's pretty rapid flood.
Yeah, it wasn't like that.
What did they say? It was a 15 million hectare lake.
Yeah.
It would have not flooded that fast.
You know, I'm always, whenever I'm in a lake, I always think of how many fence posts are down there still. And
oh, yeah.
Home
foundations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trees. Septic things.
Bass, bluegill, crappie.
Sturgeon.
That's right. Gar. You know, they're not very aggressive. We should have ended this a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for you to.
They're not a very aggressive fish. I mean,
It's good.
Yeah, it's
a good thing.
Yeah,
we used to see them a lot.
We used to see big gar a lot. Now, I mean, I've seen guys catch small gar.
But there's an invasive fish though in the Tennessee River and such.
There's a new perch in there now. I don't know if that's it, but they've recently discovered it's called I think the Tennessee perch, and I think it's invasive.
Why do they call it the Tennessee perch?
Because the man lived in Tennessee that discovered it.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be from somewhere else?
I don't know. I regret bringing this up. I regret bringing it up at all.
Don't you love those questions?
I wish I could.
Hey, remember what I said the other day?
No. No, I don't remember what you said the other day. I don't remember what you said this morning.
I told Cameron that. I was like, Jamie hates me.
Why?
Because I said, remember what I said the other day?
Yeah,
and you're like, I have no idea.
No clue. You said countless things to me every day.
But I wasn't actually asking you the question. It's just a segue into the conversation.
Oh, I got you.
You're supposed to say, no, I don't remember. What did you say? And then I say,
when have I ever answered that like that? It's always been, no, there's no chance.
Exactly. You answer it incorrectly.
Maybe you ask incorrectly.
Hey, Jamie, don't answer this.
Okay.
But do you remember what I said the other day?
I refuse to answer.
That's what I said. Don't answer it.
I'm not answering by refusing to answer.
All right. Well, let's get out of here.
I got to go home, man. I can't stay here all night chit-chatting.
Oh, yeah.
It's bedtime.
Yep.
All right.
Well, we'll see you next time. And thanks for subscribing.
Sure. Yeah, thanks.
And make sure you set the bell. What do they say? Hit the bell.
Oh, the notifications.
Yeah, if you hit the bell, you'll be notified when we have a new podcast.
I'm sure there's nothing worse than being notified when these two ugly mugs are up on the screen. Later.